Let's now take a look at some front pages from around the world, and the impact of coronavirus dominates yet again. In the Financial Times, it's highlighting the slump in US and European stocks, as we were just talking to Chris a little earlier. The paper also shows Muslim pilgrims wearing protective face masks in the holy city of Mecca. Singapore's Straits Times, meanwhile, reports on the closure of a top independent school, the Raffles Institution, after one student tested positive for the virus.
The Times carries a warning from England's chief medical officer that major sporting and cultural events are at risk of cancellation from coronavirus outbreak. It also says schools could close for at least 2 months after the number of cases in the UK rose by 3 to 16. The Daily Mirror claims virus panic has caused UK shoppers to stockpile hand gel, medicine, groceries and nappies.
The only one story in town on the financial pages this morning. The Financial Times says it. The coronavirus has triggered the worst run on markets since the financial crisis. Business page of the Daily Telegraph. Coronavirus sends global stock markets into correction territory. What that means is when the markets take a hit of around 10% or more very quickly. And actually, overnight, last night, the Dow Jones, which represents the biggest companies in America, took a 4.4% hit. What does that mean? It means that investors are very quickly selling their shares and things become less and less valuable very quickly. And as we know, as we keep saying, we haven't seen the worst of this yet. And this can hit all sorts of things like ISAs, investment plans. So we'll see how that
There was one line yesterday, I heard them saying that the effect on the global economy could be as bad as the financial crisis of 2008 if we don't get a grip of this virus. So the markets obviously open at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, so the FTSE opens at 8 o'clock this morning, but actually the 4.4% hit of the Dow Jones yesterday is the sharpest drop in history for the US markets.
Jet2 says it will not fly any customers back who've been quarantined at a hotel in Tenerife until they have been individually tested to confirm that they don't have coronavirus.
It comes despite some passengers being given the all clear to leave by the island's health minister. The airline said its responsibility to its customers remains paramount.
Last night, Northern Ireland confirmed its first case, bringing the number of those infected across the UK to 16. Elsewhere, Japan has announced plans to close schools and theme parks in an attempt to avert a major outbreak ahead of the Tokyo Olympics this summer. And Jenny Hill is in Tokyo for us this morning. So what is the latest from there, Jenny?
Well, you know, it's just gone 3:30 here in Tokyo. It's school kicking out time, and we're watching as school children run down the pavement here on their way home. It's likely that they won't be back in the classroom for at least a month, following that sudden decision by the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to ask all public schools to close their doors as of Monday. It's a decision which has prompted widespread anger and consternation amongst many parents here as they suddenly scramble to work out how they're going to deal with childcare on Monday until sometime in April. It's all part of measures coming from the Japanese government to try to contain a growing outbreak here and try to at least look as though they're in control. More than 200 people now have tested positive for the infection. That's in addition to the 700 or so who contracted the infection on board the Diamond Princess cruise ship now moored in Yokohama. What is the greatest concern for the Japanese government, of course, is the fact that in just 5 months' time, Tokyo is due to host the 2020 Olympics. At the moment, they insist that their preparations will continue as planned, but the torch relay is due to start in just a few weeks' time. Its organisers have said it's possible they may have to downscale it. We expect an announcement about that in the coming week.
Thank you very much. Jenny Hill talking to us from Tokyo, the news that they are taking measures ahead of the Olympics this summer. 3 more people tested positive in the UK, with Northern Ireland confirming its first case last night. All of them were infected after travelling to Italy or Tenerife. Now, overall, to date, more than 7,500 people in the UK have been tested for the virus. 16 are positive. And across the globe, more than 80,000 people in about 40 countries have now been infected with the virus. Nigeria, New Zealand and the Netherlands reporting their first cases in just the last few hours. But with more expected to emerge, there are concerns the world could be heading towards a global pandemic.